Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monster Report live here on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Nick Adam Poling, your host, and it has been a while since we've had a live stream. Apologize for that. Not a lot of content happening, and again, apologies for that. I've been dealing with this issue medically called pseudo gout. It's if you've got any family who's ever dealt with something called gout, it's like that. If you ever watch King of the Hill and Bobby Hill, he gets gout. It's awful, and I'm getting older, and it's just like it's got my limbs, my hands, my feet, my knees. It's just feeling like suddenly I turned 41 and I feel like I'm 81. So it's like, forgive me. I'm just trying to get through life sometimes. And I want to get back to streaming shows and box days and trailers and all sorts of things. So the new office is built. We're in here. We're ready to rock with that. And we're going to bring our guest in here in just a minute. If you're a first-time viewer here, the Monster Report's a show highlighting those entertaining creatures of film history. And we like to talk, of course, anything kaiju related, anything giant monster related. And before I bring my guest in here, join us in the chat. We've got all sorts of really great things going on in the Monster Report. So join in the chat. We've got Don Gully Jr. We've got The Butler. Good to see you guys here and having you. Don Gully, you are awesome. You've got the Sci-Fi Nerd Show, and you're doing great things. I love to see the content. Michael Hamilton, awesome. We've got Godzilla Fan Freaks Everett. Give me just a minute. We'll get back to the chat. I want to get my guest in here because the chat's blowing up already, and that's awesome. So real quick before, one little shill for Cavity Colors. So if you're a fan of Cavity Colors, you got to get yourself some merch from them. Use my coupon code that we got here to get 10% off your order, Monster Report 10. I'll leave that on the screen for just a minute as we go along here and bring in our guest. I was a guest on a show with actually Eric here that I'm going to bring in, and we had a nice discussion about King Kong. And so let's bring in, without anything further, Eric, Bearded Kaiju Unboxing and Review. Eric, good to have you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited. Like I feel like a celebrity, man.
Oh, you are. Yeah, you're on YouTube. You've hit that 400 subscriber milestone, and yeah, that's awesome. You had a giveaway, or you still got a giveaway, right?
Yep. The giveaway is going to be happening this weekend, probably Sunday.
All right. So yeah, just 2 days from the time of this recording. So go to that episode, and all you got to do is say your name in the comments, like it, right? And you're in.
And subscribe to the channel. Yeah, say your name, your full name in the comments, and yeah, you're automatically in. So yeah.
That is awesome. And you've been doing your YouTube channel a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, I think I think we're closing in on 2 years. So I'm still pretty new at the game and everything. So but yeah, it's been really fun.
Well, that's awesome. Awesome growth. And we're going to talk to you a little about yourself, your kaiju upbringing, your channel, some of the things you've got kind of going on in your head as far as going forward, and why you're so crazy about collecting and burning a hole in your wallet like so many of us do, right? With this, like Adrian here, I mean, what do you say about Adrian? He's thank you for the well wishes, man. Appreciate it. Been dealing with this. I can tell you the very day I've been dealing with this gout issue, not to talk too much about myself, but it was the day Shin Ultraman was released on that Fathom events.
Oh, wow.
And my son and I, Eli, who you met on before the stream here, we went to that, and I'm like, this is a great movie, man, but this is pulling me. And I thought it was like carpal tunnel or something. I have a desk job, dude. It's like, why am I in such pain? And it was just killing me. And yeah, it's like after the movie, dude, we're going to the hospital. Mama and Papa are going to pick you up. And found out it was this pseudo gout thing. It's nothing terribly serious. It's just a lot of calcium buildup in your joints, and it just like feels like terrible arthritis. So yeah.
Crazy.
The joys of getting old, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. So here we go. Oscar Solis, good to have you. The Butler, dang, he's going to buy one of those. Whatever it is he's speaking of, you've sold it already. So good to have you. I don't know if you know the Butler.
I'm not familiar with them.
Okay, the Butler, good to have you. And oh, good, Godzilla, not this.
Oh yes, Hamilton is me.
Yes, it is.
Oscar.
Yep, it is Oscar.
Joe,
We've
what's
got
up?
Married to Kaiju. You know him?
Yep, Joe Myers. Yeah.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
guy.
awesome. Nick looks to be Team Cavity Colors, and Eric used to be Ghost X Ghost. I didn't know that was Ghost X Ghost.
Yeah,
So.
Ghost X Ghost.
Nice. There's a lot of good merch out there. I even have merch T-shirts on my, what is it, T Public or whatever in the description. So enough about me. Let's talk some bearded kaiju. I'm getting close to the beardy here.
Get this level.
Yeah. So when it comes to your background in the kaiju fandom, where did it start? Early childhood, teenage years, a little later, and how did that start for you?
Yeah. So I first started from my dad. My dad is a super horror guy and Universal Monsters guy. He like everybody back in the day, he would record stuff on VHS and everything. So we'd have the movies and everything. So he actually had the old VHS with the hardcover, covers and everything, all that fun stuff. He actually recorded Godzilla 1985 and Mothra versus Godzilla. And I saw those when I was about 3 to 4 years old. And ever since then, I have just been in love with Godzilla. I mean, obviously, a lot of us, take the route of, being dinosaur fans too, and you kind of grow up, you like the dinosaurs, and it kind of just, it's a good segue into giant monsters and everything. But yeah, like right away, I was introduced to giant monsters, and I absolutely just fell in love with it, and it hasn't stopped. And, I was always, made fun of or picked on. A lot of us were kind of like that because nobody understood, why we like this kind of stuff and everything. And that's okay, because it's just what we liked and everything. So a lot of times, I had to keep it, in and everything, on the back burner, keep it to myself, don't let anybody know about it and everything. And, every once in a while it would come out and everything. But that's okay because I loved it. And I wasn't going to stop loving it just because someone else didn't like it. So,
yeah. So your start was with like mine with 85.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to a point, I guess, as a little kid watching that, does it draw something out of you in the sense that you're scared but still loved it? Was it kind of because it was a connection that you had with your dad? Watching these this kind of content together?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I got into the Universal Monsters. I'm big into Creature from a Black Lagoon. Like that was a really good one that me and him got to enjoy and everything. Like that was really good. And I think it was just seeing. See there. Yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about.
You got some Mondo, baby. So yeah, I got to get this guy out. But yeah, I love the Creature. Favorite Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So You, your dad, myself, we're all, right in line here. So that's awesome.
But yeah, it was just, I think it was just kind of like a fascination of seeing these big, like larger than life creatures, and stuff like that on screen. And it's just, I don't know, like I just took to it. And, I couldn't even say which of those movies was first because they were on the same VHS that he recorded. And so really when I, tell people, hey, what was my first movie I ever saw? It's kind of hard because it's actually two on one VHS. So it's like, anytime I say it, it's like, I'm just going to put these both in the same thing, A and B, because that's what it was. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was fun sitting down, watching with him. As he got older, he didn't like stay with Godzilla, but like he knew of it and about it. I'm the one that kind of like really went in depth with it and really just fell in love with it. He stayed more with the horror and the Universal monsters and stuff, but still could enjoy what I was into. And then he could still sit down and actually watch it with me. So yeah, it was just crazy seeing it on screen. I think that just kind of drew me in.
And I'm going to ask you after I get the next comment in is just kind of where did that take you from there? Because growing up, kind of where we are, Midwest, and it's like there becomes a hunt. There becomes a the next step for us. We're not just going to watch those same two movies. Does it become collecting? Does it become research? Does it become, where does it go from there? And while you're thinking of that, Everett, Godzilla Fan Freaks, Atomic Blast, that like button. Thank you so much for reminding our viewers of that. Everett, of course, check out his channel. We've got a lot of great content creators in here between Michael Hamilton, Sci-Fi Nerds, Donald Gully, Godzilla Train 1090, Adrian. So, check out all these guys. And of course, Eric, Bearded Kaiju, and we'll give you the chance to get your channel out there and all your social outlets and all that, and definitely follow him and get his subscriber count atomic blasted away. So yeah, where did it take you after your initial exposure to kaiju films? Was it the kind of peripheral kaiju other than Godzilla, or was it just all like researching what is this phenomenon coming out of Japan?
Yeah, it was literally that like I fell head over heels into this thing. And obviously back in the day, in 89 or so, we didn't have internet or nothing like that, so it was very hard to find anything. But I did whatever I could. I would go to the comic book store, see if there's any comics. I would go to the bookstores, see if there's anything about this. But yeah, I mean, and then when we started to get internet and everything, I would be on that thing from dusk till dawn. I would be looking up pictures. I would print out pictures. I would use up all the ink in the printer to have as many pictures as I had, and I would cut them all out, tape them all up, and put them all over my room because I just absolutely loved it. And just it was fun to discover more and more and more about it. And I kind of wish that I could still do that now, because like I've learned about everything. I know about everything, for the most part, unless something new comes out. But it was so fun. It was the thrill of the hunt, really, to really try to find these things and everything. And oh man, every time I found something new, I just would keep going and keep going and keep going. And yeah, and it just kept fueling the fire for like the love for it. And I just couldn't get enough of it. I really couldn't. And anything I could, I would hunt for it. And then stores started coming out in the 90s for the Trendmasters and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I had to get those and everything. Oh yeah, it was just downhill from there.
It was so awesome when Trendmasters was coming out during that time. It sounds like you're about my age. I grew up in the 80s and 90s and,
Yep.
Remember 98 in theaters and being like, okay, we got, some Godzilla content figures coming out in your Walmarts and Targets, and they're Trendmasters, but they're not all Godzilla 98. We've got the stuff coming from Japan and characters that we hadn't had home video for yet.
Yes.
And, so yeah, tell me about that spark of collecting and when, if it started earlier before we really had much, for me, it was the Imperial Godzilla, because of course that was all you could find.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Until Trendmasters, or you really had to search far and wide if you weren't going to cons, as a little kid and having that kind of money to spend. So, and of course we had home video, we had some books, we had some comics like you talked about. So where did collecting take you, and where's it, taking you to the point you are right now?
Oh man. Yeah. Like you said, I started with the Imperial. I had the Imperial big one. I had the Imperial small one. I actually had the Imperial King Kong. And that was my go-to. Like, it was those two. Like, I didn't care that, King Kong was a lot smaller than the bigger Godzilla. It didn't matter. Like, it was a battle. I was in the sand outside all the time with them, just playing around. And then, if I had, little micro machines in there and stuff like that, they'd step on them, little cities, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they were played to death and everything. But yeah, and then all of a sudden I got into Trendmasters, learning about some of the different monsters and stuff like that I didn't know of at the time. And like I said, I fell head over heels for those. I would go home and tell my mom, I was like, can you please get this for me? Can you get this one for me? And actually, my first Trendmasters were actually the bendable figures, the little 6-inch ones. And I got all 4 of those: Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. And that I thought that was the holy grail. Like, I was like, holy cow, like it can't get any better than this. Because so mind you, like, I didn't know about like Bandai at all. Like when I saw Trendmasters, this was my toy line. I didn't know Bandai was already going on for several years, because I didn't know about, online shopping or eBay or, anything like that. I didn't get any of that stuff. Like, when I had access to the internet, I was just looking up Godzilla pictures and just printing them all off and just collecting them that way. Like, that's how I did it. But yeah, like, but really, it all started with Trendmasters because I wanted to collect as much of that as I could. Then the evolution of the internet and everything, where then I was introduced to online shopping with eBay and everything. And then that's how I got my first Bandai, was actually the movie monster series Destroya. And I didn't know what he was. I just saw him and I loved him. And I was like, that's going to be my first one. And, and then I started doing Bandais and stuff like that. And then trying to learn about more figures or toy lines and everything like that. And then I finally ended up stumbling upon G-Fan magazine at actually my local comic book store. And from there, then I found out about G-Fest, and then begged my mom. I was like, don't get me anything for my birthday. Just let's go, take me to G-Fest, and I don't want anything else. I'll save money and everything. So that's what she did. I didn't have a birthday or nothing like that. She used the money to get the hotel rooms, and I saved money. I did a paper route. I would deliver phone books, anything I could, shoveling, yard work, whatever I could, just scrape up money. And when I got my first G-Fest, I was like, oh my gosh, this is collector heaven, because I was already trying to kind of dip my toes into that and everything. But then I saw that, and I saw all the toys that I've never seen before. And it really hit, because, after that, I was like, oh my gosh, I want everything. And, the rest is history.
Yeah. And so your first G-Fest, you went kind of younger, it sounds like, when you were maybe in your teenage years or so, or was it earlier than that?
Yep. It was, oh man, I'd say it was probably like about 13 years old. I went to my first one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. And then, going to those cons as a little kid, and then as you're growing, I know you had the chance to check out G-Fest continuing on, and AMA more recently. Yep. Mm-hmm. And we even talked before the stream that we probably passed each other at the AMA when they were in Indianapolis that last year. Nakajima's with us, and that's just awesome, that it could have been that case. So, but so as we grow older, and we're our resources are getting to the point where we can find these either rare collectibles or very high priced high dollar Spiral Studios X Plus. You probably felt like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten into when you spent maybe your first $100 on a figure, and you're just like, wow, I'm never going to spend that much. And then you realize it only goes higher from here, and burning the hole right through that wallet. So you're,
oh my god, yeah,
you're kind of like, I kind of compare it to that movie. What was it? A Dodgeball, when Vince Vaughn, he's interested in the lady character, and he goes into her house for the first time, and she's got unicorns, like all around. I'm kind of into unicorns, and it's like, yeah. People come in your place and see what I've got too, and it's like, yeah, kind of into monsters, yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, there's the Star Wars fandom, and there's all kinds of other fandoms that do the collecting thing too. We're no different. So on the peripheral monsters beyond Godzilla, did you find yourself kind of gravitating towards a particular monster or set of monsters that you were like, man, that's what I really like to collect. I really need to get my hands on for instance, what?
Oh boy. I will say that I was not a fan of Gamera at first, because like this unforsaken weird thing came out of nowhere where it's comparing itself to Godzilla. And I was like, whoa, I was like, hold on, nothing's compared to Godzilla now. Okay. And I actually got my first 4 VHSs from my dad for my birthday. And he gave me the first 4 Gamera VHSs. And I was like, what is this? You know? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like Godzilla. Just figured you like it. I was like, no. I was like, no, I don't want nothing that's compared to Godzilla. You know, I was like, Godzilla's the king. You know, then I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And I actually really did like them. I did like them, but I wasn't like in love with them. Like I like that they were giant monster movies and everything. But like I didn't have that same love, that same passion that I had for Godzilla. And I didn't like that they were comparing it to Godzilla. Obviously, as I got older, you know, I really started to really want to collect a lot of Gamera things. I have a decent collection going and stuff like that now. But obviously I would want it to go bigger and better. But yeah, I would say Gamera is kind of my thing where like this, besides Godzilla, like that's another thing that I really like to collect and really hunt down really cool Gamera figures.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you know, Gamera, you know, being G Fest, I always love the fact that it's not called Godzilla Fest or anything. It's just, you know, we've got so many of these monsters that have G as their first letter in their name. And so Gamera Godzilla, of course, kind of works for that. Get some of the chats in here. Bearded Kaiju have a bearded dragon.
No,
I doubt that. He's
yeah, no.
He collects the Kaiju. You just start doing that no birthday or Christmas save money for yeah, because it will eat up every bit of that. Eric's favorite kaiju is literally Baragon. Well, okay. Michael's your local troll, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, he likes to follow me.
he likes to poke the bear just a little bit. Titanosaurus.
Oscar, he knows what's up.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, you and Everett of Godzilla Fan Freaks, he's Titanosaurus all the way too. So yeah, and but yeah, it's like that. You kind of find yourself gravitating to either one of the Godzilla foes or friends, and it's like, yeah, there's so much more than just the big G. Of course, you know the there's so many of those suits, but we also like to pick up on some Gigan and Ghidra and all of the rest. When it came to, of course, later in life, when we started getting the MonsterVerse coming out, what was your kind of reaction when we first started getting a new American series of Godzilla content?
I was happy. I really was. I was happy for the 98. Okay, that's how happy I was, because I was like, holy moly, they're bringing Godzilla over here. We're getting a movie like that. That's crazy. And I went to it in theaters when it first came out, like several times, and loved it at first. I was still young. My opinion has differed, you know, as I've gotten older and everything, but I still appreciate it. But I really do like the MonsterVerse. At first, the Godzilla design didn't really hit me, you know, so much. I was kind of like, okay, I'll kind of, you know, let it go. But the 2019, 2021, like, love the Godzilla, the look and everything. It just seemed like overall they just finally polished up what they had. And to me, that's a really decent Godzilla. And I don't mind it. I know a lot of people don't like the movies overall. I mean, I'm a stickler for a lot of the characters and the character side of the movies, especially like 2019 and 2021. Not particularly the best thing in the movie, but I mean, the kaiju action is really, really good in both of those. I'm excited for the new one to come out, even though, you know, there's a lot of hype for it, but there's a lot of, you know, about it just because of our little 10-second teaser that we got. I'm just happy because it's giving us more Godzilla content. This is the stuff that we're getting now. We begged and asked for when we were younger. Like, we were asking for all of this stuff to come out, to see Godzilla on the shelves when we go to a Walmart or to a Target or whatever. Like, that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see all of this. And this is like the kaiju boom that we've wanted and asked for. And I think we really needed to step back and really appreciate it, because I know it's not for everybody and everything, but like it's something that we've clamored for, we've been begging for, especially a lot of us that have been doing this for a very long time. And it's really good stuff. It's not going to be perfect. Not everything is. Not even the old stuff is perfect. I have my nitpicks for all that stuff and everything, but everything has its own little charm to it. And so I'm actually excited for the new movie that's coming out too.
All right, awesome. I want to get into some content creation of your own, is in establishing YouTube, and what brought you to that. And while you're doing that, while you're kind of explaining the origins of Bearded Kaiju unboxing and reviews, I want to bring up a window actually to show the channel, and of course, let you talk a little about it and tell people where to go and what they need to check out. So while you're doing that, I'll bring up that window. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I was kind of pushed into this, not necessarily pushed, but like encouraged, I guess you could say, by my girlfriend, because I had seen other people doing it and everything. I was like, you know what? I was like, I know I could do that. And I've worked with people and everything that found out that I was a Godzilla fan, that I started collecting and everything. And they're like, you know what? You should really open up a YouTube channel. I was like, nah, I was like, I'm too shy. I don't like that stuff. But my girlfriend's like, maybe you should. And I was like, I don't know. And so finally I was like, all right, I'll do one. Super nervous, did it on an iPad and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a shot. Just, whatever. And I was like, you know what? After this, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then I did another one and I was like, okay, this is pretty fun. But I was like, I told everybody in the house, I was like, stay away. Don't look at me. Don't breathe. I'm just, like I just was self-conscious about it. I was like, just don't do anything while I do this stuff. And just the more I've done it, the easier it's gotten. And it's gotten to be so fun. And like I've said in my videos and stuff, it's definitely a passion. And I never thought that I would get to where I am, because I just do this for fun. There's no real end game to it. I just like showing off my stuff, because not everybody can enjoy this stuff like I can and everything. And I'm happy to show it off to everybody. And it's just so fun, and just teaching myself how to do everything, because all this stuff is just me teaching myself, learning the programs, trying to better myself. I'm a big stickler with how everything looks and flows and everything. I'm just a perfectionist. And so I put a lot of time in this and everything, and it's just super fun.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that you spend some time editing it. It's not just whatever comes out of the camera, which, there's reviews like that and those are fine. But, putting a little bit into the graphic design, the thumbnails, you must have had some, someone credited for your artwork here for your thumb.
I did actually. I discovered a very, very young artist on Twitter. Actually, his name is Thomas Johnson, and he goes by Tom Arts. Check him out on Twitter and Instagram. He's 18, 19 now, but this kid has a bright future for him. I contacted him on Twitter. I was like, hey, would you mind if we could kind of make up a logo for myself and everything for this channel? And he's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. That'll be super fun. I was like, sweet. So bounce ideas off each other and everything. And this is kind of what we came up with. And I was like, oh, my God, I absolutely love this. And yeah, this kid has so much potential. The stuff that he keeps coming out with now, it's like, oh, man, I can see his growth. And I want him to start doing cons, because, oh, man, he's got some really good stuff. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. Is that a particular kaiju, or is it just kind of your, generic kaiju that's kind of attacking you from behind kind of thing?
Yeah. So the whole premise about this thing is basically that's like my spirit kaiju. So basically he's kind of, because he's in the same pose as I am, and basically he's just like a manifestation of like kind of like how I believe in my love for the genre, is that basically just manifested into its own kaiju. And I don't even have a name for him yet. He's just kind of there right now. I've been trying to rack around a name for him and everything, but I just can't think of one yet. But yeah, this is kind of what we came up with because like he's like my shadow kaiju, or my spirit kaiju in essence. So
Oh, it's very awesome. I love it. Yeah, and there's this little kind of credit that he has there. So that's very cool. And so, yeah, for 17 subscribers at 88 videos, you're well on your way. And we want to, keep supporting you. And I love content creation. That is the stuff I love like this. I can't get enough of it. And when we talked about, getting you on the show and stuff, I was like, I'm going to explore this guy's channel. And first thing, I was like, right there. Spiral Studios burning. You gotta see this thing, and man, I just watched every minute of that, loving it, and I'm just saying, oh man, if I didn't have this house we just built, that would have been my investment, and 5 kids and all. So but man, that is an awesome figure. I just loved every bit of it. But yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what you've had the chance to review and unbox. I checked out, you got a lot of cool burnings in here. So some of the brands that you're into looks like, your Spiral Studios. What other kind of brands are you a big fan of?
Oh man, this year in particular, I'm really getting to model kits, and I started doing that. There's a couple videos on my channel for those. But like Monster Maker 28 is a big model kit that I'm really into. Searching around any of those, but obviously the bigger, more lifelike figures, I started with X Plus, and so of course I get a lot of those. That's like kind of my bread and butter. And then you got the Sofubi game where, oh man, there's so many companies that have Sofubis and stuff like that. But like you got Passion Tank and Pilot Ace and Marusan and Marmot, of course. Even Spiral Studios just brought out their new one. It's crazy to really try to keep track of everything. It really is.
But you're not exclusive to anything because you don't mind a Sofubi. I think what is it? Unlike Leslie Chambers, he's a no Sofubi guy, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes. He's no Sofubi. He's only lifelike.
Yeah, it's gotta be realistic, and so yeah, it's gotta be the X Plus, and but you've got something for Leslie, you've got something for everyone else, even if you're into model kits. Some fans, of course, I talk to that are, love collecting, but I just can't do model kits. I'd put myself in that category. I am not a model kit guy, but I love that you love it. So I love to see someone else enjoy a model kit. I even love to see, the guys who can do repaints and.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's something I can't do, but so you've got your Mondos, X Plus, Defos. What else do we got? I think that's it in the big ones, right?
Yeah. That's all the big ones that I kind of do. Like I do, the Sofubi is kind of an everything, and then you got your lifelike ones with X Plus and Spiral, and then you got your kits. So.
And even Harryhausen, that's another great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Harryhausen stuff, kind of speaking on collecting, I guess with that in mind, I talk to collectors all the time too that are, exclusively kaiju, but if you can see in the background here, I'm also peripherally the Motu fan. Is there any other, of the fandoms you find yourself, being a fan of, but you always come back to your first love, which is Godzilla? Something on the sides, whether it be, I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah, so that's funny how you said it, because years ago, probably, I would say at least 6 years ago, I made a decision that I was only going to collect one thing, because I didn't want to get into so many things that like I wanted to get everything. Like I'm a completionist. Like when I get into something, I want all of it, and I knew I couldn't afford that. I'm into anime. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I'm actually a big sports guy too. So I collected sports memorabilia also, and just sports things. So I did that. And just anything in general, like, video games, stuff. I was kind of in a lot of things. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I really have to just focus on one thing, just so I can give all my effort and essentially all my money to one thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on Godzilla / tokusatsu. So, I mean, I included Gamera in that and a few Ultraman things, but I wasn't going to go down the Ultraman rabbit hole because I know that's even bigger and longer and more expensive than even Godzilla is. And, you know, just because, but I wasn't going to do it. But there was a few things that I had to get just to say, you know, I do have some Ultraman in my collection. But yeah, several years ago, I just decided, nope, it's just Kaiju Tokusatsu.
And you kind of touched on something there with some of the new content that was coming out of Japan. Of course, we had our Shin Godzilla, 2016. And recently, did you get the chance to see Shin Ultraman or Shin Kamen Rider?
I saw Shin Ultraman. I have not seen Shin Kamen Rider yet. I've actually never seen Kamen Rider at all.
So I'm with you on that. Yeah, that was just one more thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. There's only so much bandwidth, right? So yeah, I'm with you on that. And that's a lot of you probably grew up with the Power Rangers like I did. Oh, yeah. And it was like, well, check out Super Sentai. And I'm like, someday I will. I understand what it is and I appreciate it for what it is. I just don't have enough, time, effort, money, and everything, so I get it. But so you did get the chance to see the Shin Ultraman, and did you see the English dub, or was it the Japanese version subtitled?
Yeah, Japanese version was the one, and your comment about Super Sentai, like that was my thing with Ultraman. Like when I first got an Ultraman, I was like, holy cow, like there's so many seasons. And I never thought I would get into Ultraman, but I was like, holy cow. And yeah, I went down the rabbit hole. Like I'll watch the films, the series, all that stuff, but like collecting wise, I just had to put the brakes on.
I get it. Yeah. And checking it out, at least on DVD, Blu-ray releases and all that. That's cool. You can still enjoy it, but not necessarily take it home with you like the Kaiju, like King Ghidorah back there over your shoulder. It's like, I've got to have him. Like for me, it was Varan. I had to bring home a Varan. And if you check out my Varan review, actually, when I finally got one, there's a story behind the fact that I ordered one and it didn't come, and it was heartbreaking. So, but. Yeah, you'll just have to see the video.
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, it did eventually get me the Varan I was after, but boy, it was one of those times when I should have been less materialistic. But right now it's a cool time to be a collector because we've got so many companies like Spiral Studios, like Mondo getting into it. We used to, just be the high end collectors was X Plus and some Bandais here and there, but it was pretty much them. And now we're getting, some of these other, companies, even Super Sevens getting into it. Haya, there's all these others. And you do kind of find yourself saying, maybe even in brands, I've got to limit myself. I don't think you've got anything that's saying I've got a preference of gigantic versus 25 or 30 centimeters, right?
So in the last about year, I actually started getting rid of my 25 centimeters. So I want 30 centimeters and above. So I actually started selling off my 25 centimeters. And then I also got rid of all of my articulated figures. So I was like, you know what? It's just not the thing I want to go down. So there is some stopping myself on certain things now that I was like, okay, I really have to just get the stuff that I want. Because I mean, a lot of the stuff is just getting super expensive, and it's just like I can't get it all. And like I said, I'm a completionist, so like to me, I have to get it. So it's really saying to myself, I don't need it. I don't just leave that there. I'm okay without having it. So
I get it. Yeah, get some chats in here. Stolp is the man. Like one review, take one shot, and you'll be hooked. And we need a bearded Spirit Kaiju figure. Nice.
Maybe.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gojira851, good to have you here. So if you're just joining us in here, definitely make sure to like, subscribe, all those great things here to the Monster Report and to Eric Stolp, the Bearded Kaiju unboxing and reviews. Of course, you got to check out Cavity Colors to get your 10% off of any of their, get a big order going and get 10% off that big order. Don't just order one thing and get 10% off. You got to get a few things. And they're coming out with some cool stuff too, because Godzilla's, kind of becoming popular again. We had, like we said, Ultraman Shin Kamen Rider. And so we've got some content coming out of Japan. We've got the new, I guess it might be called Godzilla Zero or Godzilla 2023/24, whatever, coming out. And then, of course, Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. Don't get me started, but we got some stuff to look forward to. So if I had to ask, is there a particular thing that's coming out here soon, whether in collecting or on the big screen, the small screen, what have you, that you're really excited about to get a hold of or check out?
Obviously, yeah, I'm dying for the new Toho Godzilla film. I mean, it's been long overdue. It's been 2016 since we got a Toho Godzilla film from Shin Godzilla. So yeah, I'm definitely overdue for that. That's the I'm happy and excited for Godzilla X Kong, but like the Toho one, that's the one that I'm really excited for. And even the Gamera anime coming to Netflix, I'm actually really excited for that. I know there's a lot of people, talk about the animation and stuff like that, and I get it, and everything, but like something Gamera we haven't gotten since Gamera the Brave in 2006.
Yeah.
Way long overdue. We're talking almost 20 years. We need more Gamera. I need more Gamera. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to.
You finally warmed up to the big giant fire breathing turtle. I guess if your starting point, funny thing about that, I talked to people who their starting point was Showa, like you're probably yourself and myself is Showa, because that's what we had growing up. Heisei was happening, but we didn't have the home videos until after 98 and all of that. So when I talked to younger fans that were, their starting point was Heisei or Millennium. They kind of look back at Showa, not with the same eyes that you and I might have of that nostalgia and, love for what it was, the big G in the suit made on the shoestring budget and, doing what they could with these amazing craftsmanship of Toho and Tsuburaya and the music of Ifukube and all of that. So I guess with your starting point, probably with Gamera, if I had to guess, was Showa, not the 90s series, right?
Yep. I was Showa with Gamera, Showa with Godzilla.
Yeah. So I kind of understand that with seeing the Showa Gamera series where, I started with that too, but I was always kind of Godzilla. But then I did see that Heisei series and it was just like, oh, that's amazing. That's that's not just a step up. That's warp speed, a new galaxy from where we came from. Yeah. So yeah, and I guess when it comes to some of the films, I kind of like to say, what's your favorite? I can say what's your favorite, but that may not be the one you find yourself rewatching a lot, because my favorite is 85, 84, but it's not always the one that I always rewatch, because sometimes I like to rewatch with my kids something. And so I may not pick that one up as often. So if there's, a piece of kaiju content that you find yourself rewatching over and over again because of the entertainment factor and its rewatchability, is there one that you gravitate towards that might be different than your favorite?
No, I would have to say my favorite is usually the one that I go to the most, and that's Terror Mechagodzilla.
Okay.
Yeah, like that is pinnacle for me. Like that is amazing. I would say a 1B would probably have to be Destroy All Monsters, because my daughter loves that one. So like anytime she wants to watch a Godzilla movie, she's like, "Hey, let's watch the monsters fighting." I was like, all right, we'll throw on, towards the back half of Destroy All Monsters, and we'll just sit down and watch it. So yeah, that would be those two.
Mm-hmm. And if you were to say which of the peripheral monsters, the Godzilla foe or friend, is your top of your favorites when it comes to the other monsters of the Toho or Daiei, I guess.
Yeah, it would have to be Titanosaurus. Like that is my absolute favorite. I don't know what happened, but like I just had this like thing in my head. I was like, you know what? I love this weird monster, this dinosaur. Like I just love him. Like I was watching the movie one day and I was like, you know what? And I was kind of studying it and everything. I was like, God, I was like, this dinosaur who is not radiated in any way, just a normal dinosaur, is literally putting a number on the king of the monsters. I was like, come on. Like he is throwing fisticuffs with him toe to toe and he's holding his own. I was like, thank you. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I just had so much respect for this kaiju dinosaur that I was like, oh my God, I love this thing. And after that, I just fell more in love with Titanosaurus, and even his roar is so unique. It's great because his look, exactly who he is when you first see him, and when you first hear his roar, you know exactly what kaiju that is. And it just means that he stands out above the rest. It really is. And even his story is very tragic, overall, if you really do think about it. So yeah, I love him.
Yeah, and when it comes to the films, it's obvious that you're a big fan of versus films. You like to see Godzilla duking it out with the other monsters, but with this new Godzilla, are you kind of hoping for that kind of a film, a monster versus monster battle, or do you kind of like this solo Godzilla versus humanity? Like we got in the original '85, Shin, things like that.
I'm always gonna go towards all right. I want to see Godzilla duke it out. I really do, but like I really love Godzilla 1985. It was my first film. I really do like Shin Godzilla. I appreciate it for what it was, and it was actually a very entertaining movie. So I don't mind that it's just Godzilla versus the world or whatever. And honestly, it doesn't really matter to me as long as we're getting this new film. I'm just going to sit back and just be a little kid again and just enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's whatever Toho gives you, you're going to be happy with it. Really? Yep. Titano seemed weak, got his butt kicked. You may respond.
Oh, Joe. That's all I can say.
I mean, obviously... every one of the kaiju has had their chance to claim the victory and claim defeat. So even Godzilla to a point, has had, he's had his run-ins with Mothra and been defeated by Mothra several times. So I guess that would have been probably your first versus would have been Mothra versus Godzilla 62, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. And I wasn't a fan of it. Yeah. I didn't like that he lost to Larva. I didn't like it.
Well, what about this? Godzilla as the hero or Godzilla as the villain? What's your preference?
Oh man. Honestly, if I had to do my top 5 movies, I think overall they would be the ones with him being the hero. So I'll probably have to just go with that. I do like both. I like movies where he is the villain, like GMK is a good one. Shin Godzilla is a good one. Even 85. Funny story about 85 is that I finally got to watch the English version for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't seen it for 20 some years because the last time I saw it, I had it on the VHS. And I don't have that VHS anymore. And I only got the Kraken release and everything, and that's just the strictly 84 version with no Raymond Burr, no nothing. And just seeing that movie really brought me back to my childhood. And I was like, oh my gosh, I miss this movie. It's so good. It's so well put together that I fully prefer 85 over 84. And I just loved it. Oh man, it was so great.
And I guess, could you put a finger on that? What is it about that film that, because I could go on forever about 85 and I can tell you why I love it and why I keep telling people when I show Godzilla scenes to people, and I pick my particular scenes from 85 that I want to show them, and I'm trying to point out little things about it and telling them why I love it. Why is it that you that really sparks something in you while you respond to Joe here again? He loves Titano, you know that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just like the way it was shot and like a lot of the scenes, just like I said, they brought me back to when I was a kid, when I was really just falling in love with Godzilla and just in awe at this giant monster being on screen, just literally just leveling buildings, walking through them and everything. Like, I would say my favorite scene in that whole movie is when he first comes to shore and he goes after the reactor. Like that scene, that whole thing, like the panning as they're going sideways and you get to see him. I mean, the far away shot when you get to see him actually go after the reactor. Like everything about that scene, I just absolutely love it. And
It's my ringtone, so I gotta get it in there.
There you go.
It scares me in the middle of the night when someone texts me and it's like,
absolutely.
He's here.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, and then like putting Raymond Burr in there and his like narration in that movie, it's so powerful. And that movie was the first movie I ever cried to for a Godzilla film. Like when he fell into the volcano, and I didn't understand what Raymond Burr was saying. At the time I was a kid, but like just seeing Godzilla go down there, and then you had the Prime Minister just bawling, on screen and everything, and then hearing that like high pitched like cry that came out of Godzilla when he got down there, like it killed me. It tore me apart. But like it's just everything about that movie just brings me back to my childhood, and I just love it.
Yeah. There is something definitely about that one. The atmosphere, the lighting, the just the music. I mean, everything that brings just the conglomeration of even that Cybot close-ups of it with the lips curling.
Yeah.
That I just love that stuff. And engaging story. Interesting human characters, I find, honestly. That's there's some that do better than others, and and I think as you grow, you might appreciate more of the human characters as you kind of absorb them. And as a kid, you're like, fast forward.
Exactly, that's exactly how it is. Like you don't want to see humans, you want to see the giant monster.
That's right. Just cut me out all of the human scenes. Get me to Godzilla. The humans could be in there as long as they're running away. So, yeah. Down to our last about 8 minutes here, and I want to make sure you get in there a plug for your channel. Where do we find you, and other social media outlets where they can find you?
Absolutely. Well, of course, you guys can find me on Bearded Kaiju's Unboxing Reviews on YouTube. I do all kinds of unboxing, anything I get new and everything. Because I've started late in my collecting journey here, I'm actually going to start doing some older pieces that I've had for a long time that are not on the channel yet. I was actually going to start doing one this weekend. So that'll be fun. I also do a round table, I guess, podcast that I call The Lowdown with Bearded Kaiju, where I'll just get guests on there and we'll talk about a particular subject and everything. I'm actually going to do my, fourth one, I think, the end of this month, the 24th. So keep a lookout for that. I won't say what we're going to be talking about yet. I'm still trying to get all the finer things tuned and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be a fun little segment that we're going to do. You guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. I do have a Twitter for the channel also. So yeah, I'm kind of all over. I'm in the Kaiju groups all over the place. I'm co-host for the group Monsters with Attitudes. So check us out there. I think next week, the 8th, we are doing our next stream about Jurassic Park, actually, I think is going to be our next one. So that's really cool. And then, of course, go to Kaiju Collectors Facebook group. Lots of cool stuff going on there for collecting and anything, news-wise and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place.
All right. So, and as far as the YouTube channel, Bearded Kaiju, and then that podcast, is it also a podcast available on YouTube, or can they find it elsewhere?
Yep, it's on the same channel too.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you were doing like the audio only podcasts. It's on YouTube, so check it out.
It's on YouTube. Yep.
Yep, easy, one-stop shop. Find it there.
Yep, exactly.
Yep, and follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I know you're active on there too. So yeah, check him out all over those places. And this has been an honor. This has been great. I was on the Monsters with Attitude with you. We were talking some King Kong and. Yeah, some great kaiju content creators on that. That's a collaboration. Kind of explain a little about that with the last couple of minutes we got here. What kind of that round table is and who's involved.
For the King Kong one?
The Monsters with Attitude.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of, we got Adrian Settle, who is kind of spearheads our group and stuff like that. He's our fearless leader. And then we have me. We have Michael Hamilton from Kaiju Ramen. He's been a great addition. We have Samson West, who started doing boxing reviews before anybody else even thought about doing it and stuff like that. So he's kind of one of the godfathers to start that whole thing. He's on there. We have Cody from Cody's Kaiju Customs. He does woodworking and stuff like that. So you can find him on YouTube. And then finally, Aaron Acuna. He's newer to the group too. Definitely up and coming guy. Definitely spreading his wings, and he's going to fly because he does such a great job and everything, and he's just such a pleasure to work with. So yeah, just kind of a rambunctious bunch of us just kind of get together and talk about a cool subject. It could be movies, it could be figures, whatever kind of sparks our interest. We just get together and just talk about and have fun.
All right. And in just a minute here, I'm going to have you maybe give them something to look forward to, maybe something you've pre-ordered. So be on the lookout for that, something like that. But I just want to, again, tell everyone out there who's in the chat, who's watching here today or seeing this on replay, check out Monsters with Attitude, Bearded Kaiju. Follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. And Eric, you're just doing an awesome job. And I love collabs. That is fantastic when we work together instead of apart. I don't think we need to be in competition with each other. I say what we love. It's not as big, let's say, as some of the other fandoms that are out there. But what we have such a passion for. And growing up, we may not have had that friend or two that shared our passion for it. So collabs gives us that outlet to share our love for this, collecting, have these great discussions, and even agree to disagree, and we can still be friends at the end of it. Because this man I just talked to said he loved Godzilla 98 when it came out. I can forgive him for that. For that. Even though he's absolutely wrong about everything. I'm kidding. So, it kind of depends on where you were in life at that point. So I was in the theater yelling at the screen to my parents, "That's not Godzilla." So, it's a great big dinosaur, but that's all it is. Didn't breathe fire. Come on. But anyway, what can we look forward to coming up? Anything on pre-order? Anything you've got as far as a review that you're real excited about?
Let's see. I know I should be coming this next week. Actually, I got the new X Plus Godzilla Ultima. So that'll be a review on the channel. And also one of my bigger ones that's be coming later this year, I think in a couple months, will be the Spiral Gigantic GMK.
Nice.
So cannot wait for that one. And then, of course, in July, we'll be going to G-Fest. So that's going to be fun. So if anybody ever sees me at G-Fest, come up, just talk to me. I'm pretty shy, so I'm not the one who initiates it. Just come find me, and I'll talk your ear off, and it's fun to see that kind of stuff. So.
No, that's definitely awesome. So yeah, check him out at G-Fest. Follow him, contact him, tell him what kind of figures you want to see, and he'll go out there and buy it, and he will unbox it on his show. And it's just fantastic. I love what you're doing with the show, and I just wish to see you continue to grow in that and enjoy it. more than subscribers, likes, and all of that. But those are great things to support what you do, and continue to encourage you to doing what you're doing, because it's a great thing, and just love to see that. So we're gonna close this out, and don't go away after we close the show. We'll give our proper goodbyes, but everyone check out his channel, check him out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, and continue following us here on the Monster Report. We're getting close to that 100,000 subscriber mark. So
dang!
Thank you. It's the fans that do it, and I really appreciate what everyone else has done. But again, I'm the one who wants to see collabs. I want to see creators, because I was there too. I was right there where you were starting out, and it was because of the encouragement of the subscribers, the members, the likes, and all of that, the comments, that drives us to do what we do. So I just appreciate you coming on the show, and looking forward to some collabs with you in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait till I get up to those numbers with you, man. I mean, yeah, I love to do the dirty work. It's going to be fun, but yeah, I love your mindset where everybody is in this together. And that's what we really should do. Everybody who does this kind of thing, it's not competition. We're all here because we all love the same thing, and let's all enjoy it. We all have our own opinions, and that's fine. And we can just respect everybody's opinions for what it is. But like we can all still get along and enjoy the one thing that we could all get along with, and that's just loving Godzilla.
Yep, absolutely. Eric Stope, the Bearded Kaiju, reviews and unboxing and reviews. You've been truly a gentleman. Thank you all for your time, and we will catch you on another episode of the Monster Report Live. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Later.